So, it's that time of week where I blabber on about albums for about half an hour. And yeah, this week is. I'm trying to get countdown off the screen, sorry. And yeah, this week is stacked. Last week didn't have many albums, so I ended up returning to a lot of missed. I'm going to get into that in a minute. Sweet. So, without further ado, let's see if I can get this as away as possible. That'll stay. Go there. Yeah, that works. Right, let's go. Starting off with George Clanton's Urap-IR. At the time it came out, I'd heard the name, but I decided to skip it because, honestly, I don't know why. I think there was just like too much stuff. Too much stuff. I corrected myself unexpectedly. I was trying to repeat what I just said. Anyway, but yeah, I think there was like too much stuff, and I just decided, skip. But, the more I'd heard praises be sung about this album, the more I just wanted to listen to it. And I finally got round to it, and oh my god, this album is ear candy. Why the fuck did I skip it? The production is perfect, the instrumentals are beautiful, and on tracks such as the title track For You I Will and opener Everything I Want, it's just insane, man. Those final 3 tracks before the end, oh my god. Honestly. The vocals are solid and don't really do anything problematic apart from maybe a few moments, really. But there are gripes I do defo have with this album. For a start, some songs, yeah, sure, they're beautiful when they're on, but there's nothing really memorable about them, and sometimes they're just a bit too skeletal for me. It's just a bunch of synths everywhere, and every so often vocals. And, yeah, it's beautiful, but, cool? Is it going to do anything else like the others do, production-wise? Is it going to do something insane like the rest of the album? And, it just sort of doesn't. Especially on, yeah, I've Been Young, as I just mentioned. And when not on, I just don't think about them. Others such as You Hold the Key and I Found It just sound a bit whatever to me and sort of don't do as much for me as the rest of the album, as does Vapor King / Subbrew, which could have done with it being a bit shorter because it does drag on towards the end. But overall, that aside, I have nothing bad to say about the album whatsoever. I have no critiques, anything. It's just an experience and beautiful. It's just amazing. From March to when it came out on July 28th, not one album came out that was as good as this one. 9.1 out of 10. And don't be surprised to see that go up in future. I might even correct it because I'm literally about to read this and moment to stop recording. Moving on to Baby Metal's the other one. I've been an admirer of them for a while now, so I thought it was about time that I listened to this. I kind of just forgot, to be honest, to listen to this, but, I love it. It's joyous, fun, and just great musically. Some songs, such as Metal Kingdom, are impressive and insanely fun to listen to at the same time, and others detour into different sounds that work really well, as they don't overdo it. Think like Light and Darkness. The vocals are polarising, but I fucking love them. They're just... I just love everything about it, really. Everything that could... I get the band, basically. I just get them. But some songs are basic and bland, such as Monochrome, and others are corny. But I love this band, and it's just insanely fun to listen to, and this weird experimental type of stuff that they kind of do, and they're sort of weird sound. I just love stuff like that, and I love this album, 8.5 out of 10. Moving on to Paranorals After the Magic, which is usually a beautiful shoegaze masterpiece. Yeah, honestly, songs such as Parades and the title track have ridiculously good instrumentals and are overall beautiful, and with the length of each song being really long, it's never boring, which is actually pretty impressive. But some songs are too basic for their own good, and there are a few dull tracks I want to highlight. Sketchbook tries to do some weird experimental thing, but yeah, it didn't work, it kind of sucked. And it was then followed by Imagination, which is probably the only track with anything boring about it. It was annoyingly basic and just whatever while I was on. Didn't do anything for me. What's happening there? Overall, though, this album is absolutely beautiful in every way, even if there are some annoying experiments, basic tracks, and moments that just could have been better. They could, I might already have to be honest, I do need to look back at some of their albums, make a true masterpiece. Might already have done it, as I just said, but I can't know for sure. And if they haven't yet, I think they will. 8.3 out of 10. Right. Suzanne Sonfor with Blow Me is next. I don't know how it's pronounced, but I'm presuming it is. B-L-O with an accent, M-I. this isn't an insanely horny album, shut up. But this album, I'll be honest, it's almost overrated and almost a bore. The first half was honestly pretty basic and forgettable. And some of the experiments that were there, like fair play, it just didn't work. Songs such as like Runa and most of Ashero's song did nothing for me but make me want to fall asleep. I'm not in a, like, this is insanely relaxing in like a lullaby kind of way. It's in a boring as fuck type of way. Second half, though, is where the album started cooking with gas for some reason. The instrumentals were more beautiful, and the vocals were always beautiful. They never did anything problematic throughout, and they were still beautiful, so boom. Songs such as Alyosha are phenomenal gems of songs and really bring the score up. Overall, beautiful album that, yeah, it does have its duds. Yeah, it does have its uninteresting moments, but it also has a hell of a lot of beautiful highlights. And finally, at the bottom by a fair margin, is Rob 49's For God 2. Honestly, once I heard him on Utopia, I just thought, I kind of just have to listen to the album, and at the same time, I know we're Rob 49 fans, so I just decided, yeah, let's fucking go in with this bitch. Right, it has its bangers, 100%. I mean, the title track slaps, as does TRX, Tricks, however the fuck you pronounce it. However, most of the album is in that pretty, like, in the middle region, if you know what I mean. Think the mid Staying to Myself, which was just insanely uninteresting and whatever, but, like, didn't do anything, like, terribly bad or anything. Highlights aren't as high in comparison to how low the lows are, such as the horrendous closer, No Love, which is completely ruined by No Cap. Don't get me wrong, Rob 49 tried to save it, but No Cap really was that terrible. The beat was mid too, and overall, the album, yeah, it was pretty mid, let's be honest. But it had bangers, it had decent beats, it had good energy, and there are great tracks to take out of it. But there's awful tracks too, and overall, it's just around the middle. 5.8 out of 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Quiet week in comparison to this absolute behemoth coming up. Let's start off with the worst one, which is pretty obviously Dream, with To Whoever Wants to Hear. And the answer is probably no one, because this has no redeeming qualities whatsoever. Slow down, sucked ass, but honestly, one of the highlights here, despite having probably the worst lyricism on whole EP. Kinda Love could have been alright if the singer could sing, but he can't, and no amount of vocal effects can save him, clearly. Then we move on to Paranoid and Spotlight, which were unbearable, especially the former, but that might not even be the worst here somehow. I'll get to that later. Young Gravy had an awful performance, but still carried Everest. That's how bad and talentless Dream is. Best song on the album, 1 out of 10. Genuinely, it's that bad. Honestly, the beat just about gets it to that region. Invisible Like You starts off horribly and is intolerable. And honestly, the weakest rap here. And obviously, Until I End Up Dead, you've heard the whole cash grab thing. I know his dad is, like, fine with it and thinks it's pretty good, but, like, the music video, the album cover, it just stinks of cash grab and disingenuous, and I just don't like it. But, you know, if Techno's family don't care, then cool. But, yeah. Awful lyricism, awful everything. One of the worst things I've ever heard. Dream is talentless and should fuck off. Fuck you, Dream. Fuck you for making this. 0.0 out of 10. Fuck yourself, moving on to Icona Pop, just to get away from that thing. Actually, no, I don't really want to move on to this, because this sucks too. It offers nothing at all, aside from Need You, which was kind of a banger, I'm going to be honest, and had a great beat. But most of it was just a repetition of the title of the song, or a little teeny tiny chorus over a bland EDM beat that you heard in 2012. And honestly, it just made you want to cry with how bland it was. Think Desire, which had Joel Corry on it, which kind of explains everything, because Joel Corry is fucking shit at everything. However, the closer Spar was interesting in how fucking terrible it was. Terrible beat, terrible rapping, if you can even call it that. It just sucks. These guys haven't been relevant in a decade. A definition of one-hit wonder, really. Because, like, who else knows them apart from the bloody Charlie XCX song? Let's be honest. That's the only song of them you know. Be real. You have not heard Icona Pop since I Don't Care, I Love It. That song is a bop, though. Come on. But yeah. And they're just trying to bring back their relevancy in the most flippin' bland, annoying, and lazy way. Absolutely sucks. I hate this. 1.2 out of 10. Let's hope this week gets better. It does by the definition of it being not as terrible, but it still sucks with this Midwest album, E3. This one didn't get delayed. I wish this one fucking did. Because this was almost as unenjoyable as the fucking convention thing. The instrumentals aren't too bad, yeah, but like everything else sucks big, hot, stinky fucking ass shit. The vocals are some of the worst I've ever heard, and it just sounds bad. The lyricism sucks as well. It's just so awfully mixed. Some songs such as Lights Out are borderline unlistenable because of those fucking vocals. He can't sing. And he decided to completely omit Tally, his best song and an absolute banger for no reason. There are highlights though, such as like SFB, which absolutely slaps. As the album progresses, it actually becomes more and more listenable. But the production overall and instrumentals overall are just wasted on awful lyricism and the worst vocals I've ever heard. Apart from maybe Dreams. And overall, it just sucks, man. It just sucks. 3.9 out of 10. Oh, at long last, a good album. Royal Blood with Back to the Water Below with Time. Yay! Did I say my rating for Midwest? I think I did, but 3.9 if I haven't. I know the band have been dumb this year, but they kind of smashed this album, I'll be honest with you. The production is perfect, the vocals are solid, as they always are, and obviously it's like two people, so it's impressive. Did you know it's only two guys and a bass guitar? But yeah, tracks such as the closer Waves and Pull Me Through honestly were amazing, but with all Royal Blood albums, they're just basic as fuck. They waste their potential on basic shit. They could make a great album, but they never do. They can make a great of an album, but they just make great albums. A 7 is great. Spoiler alert for the rating. But, tracks such as Triggers and the following two songs afterwards were basic balls and could have been improved on. Honestly, would have been in the 8 out of 10 territory with better tracks in that region. Genuinely. It's better than their debut, and it's probably their best to date. I've not heard the previous album or the album before that, but I seriously doubt their sophomore is as good as this. Maybe their third album is, but, if I wouldn't be surprised at all if this was their best. But, I do think they just could have done more. I'm happy with it. It's great, but, still. They have so much potential, and they're kind of wasting it on just being basic balls sometimes. However, this had some fucking bangers. No denying it. 7.3 out of 10. And at the top is Slow Dive. Of course it is, with Everything Is Alive. Which, it's beautiful. With tracks such as The Slabs being absolute masterpieces. The previously mentioned track is an incredible instrumental and is overall just beautiful in every single way. But songs do often drag on for too long, and the track Chained to a Cloud does just that, amongst being basic, boring, and mid. There are a fair few basic tracks, but they're usually beautiful and have their place in the scene, and are pretty solid. I think Kisses probably the best example. Overall, beautiful album. Yeah, it's sometimes basic, but it spawned some masterpieces, and it's just good for a number of usages. I could play this in multiple contexts, honestly. 8.2 out of 10. Great. This week is a behemoth, but I'm going to get the obvious ones that everyone is looking forward to out the way. Because why the hell wouldn't I? Come on. Let's start off with, who should I start off with? Probably James Blake with Playing Robots to Heaven, sorry. This could be a 9 or it could be like a 6, I don't know. But yeah, can't wait. Really want to know how that turns out. Tizo Touchdown with How Do You Sleep at Night, his long-awaited debut, but Modern Jam feature aside, I'm just not that big of a fan of him. I've heard the snippets, they kind of suck for the most part, and this is going to be a 4. Olivia Rodrigo, of course, with Guts, which I'm saying is probably going to be around a similar level of sour. There's going to be some corn, but the two singles have been great, so there will be some bangers too. And I'm predicting a 7. And is there anything else I want to mention? I've mentioned Olivia, James, Tizo. I also want to mention Lorfi with Bewitched. Is it? Yeah, Bewitched, which is also coming out. It features a orchestra, because that's sort of her thing. And yeah, 8. I have heard her album, her debut. It's fucking beautiful. It's brilliant, and I think this will be the same. So yeah, can't wait for that one. And yeah, there's a hell of a lot to look forward to this week. I've not even mentioned a fuck ton of the rest of them that could be dropping. I'll get to that when I get to that, which is probably going to be around right now. Hi, so already mentioned James Blake, Olivia Rodrigo, Tizo Touchdown, and Laufey, sorry. So, including those 4, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 albums to listen to. We've also got shout outs to do, but I'll do them at the end. So, I'm going to start off with Lancey Foo, the next stop in the UK, with Back to the Trap. Obviously, a good time to drop a mixtape, considering the success he's had recently. This features Sexy Red. And that's it. 12 songs, 30 minutes long, 4. Moving on to 38 Special and Comedy the Machine. This is Comedy the Machine's 4th album this year. Special Machinery here. A collab with 38 Special. And obviously Comedy the Machine. That's why it's called Special Machinery. Ha ha ha. It also features Lloyd Banks, El Camino, Benny the Butcher, Eminem, and Pharaoh Monch and Che Neuer. 10 songs, 28 minutes long. 7. Tinashe as well with BB/Angel. 7 songs, 20 minutes long. 7. Buju Banton with Born for Greatness, which features Victoria Monet. Stephen Marley and Snoop Dogg. 17 songs, 56 minutes long. 7. Real Boston Richie, who I'm pretty sure was on the XXL. That's how I know the name, with Welcome to Bubbaland. This is his 2nd album of the year, but I've got no intention of returning to his first because I don't really care that much. But I will listen to this. No features for 16 songs and 43 minutes of runtime. That is bold. Hopefully he isn't shit then, but I think he probably will be. 3. Huncho, who is basically doing the same thing MF Doom does. With My Neighbours Don't Know, featuring D-Block Europe, Naffy Smalls, Nines, Peasy, K-Trap, Steve Drive, and that's it. 19 songs, 52 minutes long. 3. Any album with D-Block Europe sucks, man. David, D4VD, with his 2nd EP of the year, The Lost Petals, which has 5 songs and 60 minutes of runtime. 8. I've already mentioned you. And finally, Dying Fetus with Make Them Beg for Death. 10 songs, 37 minutes long, 8. So there you are. But I've also got 4 albums I want to shout out. Starting off with Lil Peep, with I Love McConan, with Diamonds. I never listened to, Jesus Christ. I never listened to posthumous albums ever, pretty much, aside from a very few exceptions. 21 songs, 1 hour, 21 minutes. No. I've also got Flight, who I just want to mention, but I don't really want to listen to. Walking W Part 2. This features Blue Bucks Clan, Ralphie the Plug, Soda Baby, Autumn Corrin, T Grizzly, and Babytron. 15 songs, 30 minutes long. No, I am not listening to that. Fuck you. A Boogie with the Hoodie with B4 Boa. 3 songs, 7 minutes long. At this point, it's basically just a single. It's not worth listening to an EP just for it to be 7 minutes. 10 minutes is my absolute limit. So, yeah. And a very non-shout out to Tom McDonald, who's only released his album on some weird service thing. A bit like what Earl and The Alchemist did, basically. And if it's not on SoundCloud or Spotify, I'm not going to listen, for 1. And for 2, it's Tom McDonald. Any opportunity not to listen to him, I will take with open motherfucking arms, man. But, yeah. So, there you are. It's going to be a stacked week this week. I've already listened to a few of them. I'm not going to really state my opinions on them, because why would I? I've got a whole episode to do that next week, which I will do that. So, see you next week for that. Hopefully, Alchemist will come on streaming sooner rather than later, because I do want to listen to it, but not that much. I'm using an NFT website because bullshit. It's dumb. This isn't actually anything album-y. I just realised I incorrectly corrected myself, and I've already forgot the actual pronunciation of what's it? Leifei? What is it? I can't remember. Sorry for butchering your name, Lawfee, I guess. You don't know who I am, but sorry.